Wednesday, October 8th. Welcome to the Jezebelle Trinity podcast, and I am your host, Trinity Stella. I hope everybody's doing great today. It is 1:45. I scheduled a little bit early tonight because I have another engagement on Wednesdays, but I am so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to see you. I'm glad you're here today. So yesterday, just kind of wanted to follow up on do a little recap of this week so far. We're at the hump day, ready to go downhill from here. So Monday was how to manifest what you want, your goals, manifest your needs, your wants, speaking them into existence and living as they already happened. Yesterday, we talked about how to let go of things, release things that weren't serving your growth, your purpose, that things outside things, people, places, and situations that weigh you down, that don't serve what you're working toward, that don't serve your growth, who you're trying to become. And the 3 tips on how to do that. So today I kind of wanted to follow up on that and discuss what happened, how we stepped through that now, that threshold of letting go. So we've decided to let people go, places go that maybe cause chaos in our life, that cause pain in our life, that cause chaos. So we're talking about what happens after the letting go, the space, the silence, and the sacred growth that follows. So when the dust settles and the silence speaks, you can ask yourself, who are you becoming? You're reconnecting with yourself. You're becoming aware of who you are. You're becoming aware of your feelings, your behaviors, your reactions, your responses. It gives you a little more control over yourself, not allowing these things, these outside things, distract you, cause disconnection from your mind, your body, and your spirit. You are reconnecting with yourself. You're disconnecting with the outside and reconnecting with yourself, becoming aware. So now it's like you've let these things go and there's a space there. So now what? Now what are you doing? So that's more, I'm going to share 3 tips. Just 3. I mean, there's a lot that you can do. 3 tips on what to do after you're releasing these things from your life. With that extra space, that extra time. And so one is letting go. Remind yourself that letting go isn't a weakness. It's wisdom in motion. You're choosing your self-respect over self-sacrifice. So instead of sacrificing your needs, your wants, your feelings, your love for yourself to give to other people, you are choosing yourself. You're choosing to respect your time. You're choosing to respect your space, your mind, your body, and your spirit by letting these things go. It's growth in motion. And number 2, silence after the release is sacred. That's your sacred silence. I suggest don't rush to fill that space. Like if you're breaking up with somebody and jumping into another relationship just to fill that emptiness, that void, that's where that space, that's where your transformation begins. This is where you transform yourself into a better person. And taking time to sit with yourself, get to know yourself, healing yourself, grieving, things that you do for your own healing during that time. And number three is the real release is internal. When you stop carrying the emotional weight, your outer world naturally begins to shift. So when you stop carrying that emotional weight of fighting somebody else's fight, arguing with somebody over because you don't get along, um, your outer world naturally begins to shift. So when that's that's out of when you're moving that out of your life, things change, your perspective changes, your emotions change, your behavior changes if you so choose to do it. Um because while you are choosing change, you are choosing change for yourself when you make that decision to let go, to release something that's not serving you. And also remember that it it will be painful, but it's like healing a wound. You're kind of opening it up, and I'm not gonna be all gross here, but squeezing that pus out and letting it heal. You got to get that junk guck out of there and open it up to heal. And it hurts for a minute, and it might take a few days, it might take a week or a year, but isn't it better than allowing it to hurt you every day, cause chaos in your life every day? It's a cycle, that's your pattern. And you're choosing to break that pattern, you're choosing to break that cycle. And when you choose to break that cycle, it's uncomfortable, it's scary, you're scared, you're fearful of now what? Who am I without that person? Who am I without that place in my life? Who am I? So you start questioning who you are. And that's when you can start manifesting who you want to become. You're becoming. Who do you want to become? You want to become somebody who's less angry, who has more patience, that has new tools. You're creating these new tools for your future. You're creating these new tools to pass on to your children. You're creating new tools to shape what you want to build in your life. Like for instance, if you are breaking up with somebody, you don't want to rush to fill that void with somebody else, because usually you'll just fill it with the same thing, because you haven't changed. You haven't given yourself time to change. So give yourself a little time to change and feel that pain. Let it, all these emotions flow through you. Journal it. Journal what you're feeling. I spoke earlier about, when you take time to journal things about you. You don't have to mention other people's names in your journal, because this is about you and how you're feeling and your growth. And that way you can reflect on last week, how you were feeling last week to how you were feeling this week, and be like, oh my God, and things that you don't remember. It'll remind you of where you were, how far you've come. And it's a release, it's releasing these internal feelings of, like, if you're feeling lonely, or if you're feeling inadequate, or if you're feeling like you're not worthy, and then you're working on it, you continue to work on it, you continue to put one foot in front of the other, and acknowledge that discomfort without that person in your life, without that place in your life. And then as time goes by and the days go by and you journal these things, you're journaling your growth, your progress, so that when you take a look back on your journal, you can remember. And I say these things because this is what I do. I write these journals and of my days, how I'm feeling, and I'll go back like last year, and I'll be like, man, you know what? Last year, this time, I was I was in prison in this time last year. And I'll be open, I'll be honest, I'm gonna be truth. I'm gonna stand my truth and tell you that right now. Yes, I was locked up. And from last year, this time to now, I'm it reminds me to be very grateful from where I was to how far I've come. Because having my own space, my own comfortable bed, my own room, it makes it all so much better. Oh, and all the steps that I've taken to be better, to better myself, to be better than who I was a year ago, and to take the lessons that I learned during that time and apply them to life today. And that's how you grow your wisdom, or you gain wisdom, is seeing the lessons, seeing the mistakes, changing the behavior, and owning it, standing in your truth. And it's not all, I always say it's not always easy. The work is never easy. It's hard. It's easier. I've always thought that it's easier to say, F it, I'm just going to go do this and go off the deep end, and it's easier to do that than work on yourself to be kind, to be, I mean, when things are going on around you, to stay grounded, to stay positive, to not always think of the things that you don't have. I don't have this, or I can't do that. And that limits your growth. And when you start manifesting, talking about the things that you do have, the things that you want in your life, if you want a good love, then learn how to love you better. How do you love yourself better? What do you like to do? For instance, I want to laugh more. I want to be more lighthearted. So what do I need to do to enjoy things better instead of getting so deep and so serious all the time? Um, and that would mean I would need to step outside my comfort zone, doing things that make me uncomfortable, but might be fun. I might be fun. It might be fun to do it. It might be fun, and who cares what people think or who judges me? And let them, because I'm choosing to grow. I'm choosing to heal. I'm choosing to stand in my truth. And usually the people that say things that judge you can't do that themselves for themselves. So they're reflecting that onto you. You ever notice how, like, we're mirrors? When you're changing your behaviors, when you're releasing what you don't like about yourself, when you're choosing to change patterns, people see that, and that causes them to take a look at themselves. And who knows, you might spark somebody else to choose themselves, to change. And then it goes on. It's kind of like a ripple. Be that ripple. Be that ripple in your community. Be that ripple in your home, and be that leader. Lead by example, by respect, by truth, by courage, bravery, wisdom, honesty, and humility. And you will never be steered wrong, ever. You step in those and have the courage to do it. But all right, guys, you guys have a good rest of your day. I don't mean to cut it short, but sometimes I don't feel like, I don't know. I'm working, I'm busy, and I really want to put my all into this. I love connecting with people like this, like through media, through a podcast, and it'll get better. I'm talking it into existence. I am living like this is how I want it, how I'm dreaming it will become. I'm living as it already is. if you know what I'm saying. But all right, live your life like you already have all you want. And you do have all you want right now. And if you don't, take the steps, take the tips. You know, we're walking alongside each other in this journey. I'm just speaking it out there, putting it out there. And we're walking together doing this. I'm doing the same thing. You know, like I said, I'm not just talking out of my ass during these podcasts. I'm walking the journey with you and walk it together. And we are supporting one another. Well, you guys have a good Wednesday, good hump day. Be kind, be good, be gentle, be compassionate with one another, because we are all going through something, and nobody knows why we decide the things we decide except for you and Creator, for me and Creator, and that's personal. That is a personal relationship that you have with your own higher power. But I will see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. sharp. All right, guys. Peace, love, and 100% respect out there. And I see you guys. I see you, and I know you see me. And we're rising. We're rising together. We're healing. We're changing. We're changing the shift. We are shifting things together as one. But have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. I love you guys. Peace. Gigawabamin. That means see you later in Ojibwe. We do not say goodbye. We say Gigawabamin. See you later. All right. Have a good night.